decide to pick in terms of strikers as we actually get into map number 1, which is Night Market.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued to see. I'm seeing a lot of characters that just hold base value, right? That could be picked. But looking at the characters that have been picked, there is the rune that he mentioned. There's also the now on the side of Bozo Bunch coming through. More interestingly as well, the Finny goalie for the side of Bang Bang is definitely going to hold a lot of damage threat as well, considering it's a Deadeye start, which could be really, really scary to play in.
Yeah, Deadeye, obviously a huge defining awakening. And speaking of that, the only player opting for Deadeye is Fudgy Waffles on the Finny. So something to look out for is that card flying across the map and just slamming into one of the members of Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt really bad, but the thing is, with everyone else having fight or flight at their disposal, they're not gonna be easy to hit as the kickoff has now commenced. And Gret already down to half HP, no evades.
Right, one barrier down already. We do see this offense from Bang Bang. It's working wonders. I want to see if the sort of double defense ends up working out. We see Grimella using those midfield magnetized souls, but instead sort of being forced to play in the net to help out Fudgy Waffles.
Yeah, a lot of force just coming through from Dropletto and Gret there with that Kai Asher pick. Really being oppressive with the abilities in front of the net as they're taking another barrier as well. Dropletto even can find a goal here, maybe. No, flip goes out, but it doesn't translate.
Yeah, nice unstable anomaly there from Grimella. And the shot from Gret just makes it into the bottom. This is going to be very difficult for Fudgy to hold this down, especially as this character is more of a projectile and creation goalie and might not be able to stop the melee and just offensive pressure coming out from this Asher.
Yeah, most definitely. You kind of need to start looking interrupting the core as early as in the midfield, right? Because if the core is getting too close to your side, there's not really much you can do anymore if you're that Finny. Fudgy does have a flip to his name though, so he can use that if it comes down to it, but it's not really looking like they even need to play on the defensive end as they're being very aggressive with their positioning and keeping core on enemy half for a very long time.
That's right. Another thing to mention too is this now goalie from Obscure Breads able to heal up the forwards and midfielders as they push through.
The heals are going to be helping out a ton. The question is it going to be enough or not? Because Dropletto again down to half HP, and those now mines are limited. Those now ultimates are limited as well. So not quite sure if it's going to be quite enough, especially if the Finny can maybe even find more awakenings later on and scale even harder for damage.
That's right, a scary situation now for Obscure Bread, stuck in the corner against all 3 members of Bang Bang. They're pushing up, but Dropletto is just winning every strike war, able to get the core past. And although Bang Bang has both barriers, the threat is looming from Bozo Bunch. They have the opportunity to break through if Fudgy makes one wrong move and commits a little bit too far up. But right now, the defense from Bozo Bunch holding strong.
They're holding on to it for sure, and not only that, they also find a nice kill on Drew there. They have a power play going. Gret now trying to take a barrier, gets the first one. Dropletto there to cover the core, but it goes right past him. As now they're on the defensive end again. Are they going to be able to get another attack going? No, Drew is back on the field. We're on an even game state again. As Gret though finds a nice barrage and a flip here into a beautiful primary from Obscure Breads. What a goal.
Wow, that sentry drone just in the right place. You know, we don't often see goalies scoring, but in this case, the strike shot helping out with that 35% extra range, able to just sit in the net and pose a threat. So Fudgy Waffles and Obscure Breads, take a look for their ults and their primaries because they are going to potentially catch each other off guard.
They're going to be incredibly impactful if placed properly, that is for sure. The core is now bouncing back and forth though. The side of Bozo Bunch now getting another barrier, as now both teams are on one barrier left. Dropletto though needs to be careful not to die, but Obscure Breads is here to help out with that ultimate.
Yeah, and a nice find there from Gret, getting that top of the barrier, just looking for anything now. Fudgy in a scary situation. Drew does manage to take that second barrier though, so both nets are open. That ult coming out, not doing too much. There's the core again. Gret dribbling it with the barrage, trying to keep it away from Drew. Drew has the opportunity to score here. The Obscure Breads does have the flip, might be forced to use it soon, but somehow finds a beautiful clear, and the stun comes through from Drew. Obscure Breads opting not to use that core flip and punished for it a little bit, because now this set's 2-1.
Punished for it for sure, although it is kind of passable still, right? That is the first goal that the side of Bang Bang has been able to find so far. So maybe holding that flip for another offensive play for Obscure Breads might be worth it, but another barrier has dropped as they need to defend as 3 people. Grimella with a nice pillar there though, holding on to that core to make sure that the side of Bang Bang isn't going to be losing a barrier for free. Flip coming out from Drew, but really well executed from the side of Bozo Bunch to hold on to that barrier. 3-man defense is not something you're just casually walking through.
No, that's right. Obviously, amazing coordination and communication from these teams, able to strike at the correct timing. It's often difficult when there's so many people in the net. It seems like they're making it work. And not to mention this Bang Bang defense. I love the way Grimella is just playing at the midfield with these magnetized souls, really making that awakening work perfectly. Fudgy now defending against the airship, gets out of it. Dropletto somehow, some way, not able to take those barriers.
By almost, it seems like a miracle that barrier hasn't dropped yet, but it does bounce right past Grimella there on accident, as one barrier has dropped now, but the side of Bang Bang is looking to get another attack going. Gets shut down by Dropletto pretty swiftly. Fudgy with a nice clear though, sets another attack going as a big banish on Gret comes down as well. Skewerbreads has to use the flip to defend this, but the core's just going to go right back to the side of Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, now it's scary for Bozo Bunch. They're looking for something. Dropletto misses the strike. Fudgy somehow gets it around that primary ability. And we're just sitting in the top side of this. Obscure Breads has no flip, and neither does Fudgy. Both these defenses seem like they're strongly impacted as Drew now getting close to flip. Might be able to get the self pass. The flip into the top corner. Obscure Breads not able to find that one. And things are tied up now, 2-2.
2-2, one more goal decides his first draft. And I feel like the first draft is going to hold so much value as well, right? A lot of characters in this game have so many priority awakenings that could be going their way. So definitely happy if you're the side of Bang Bang here, as they find a lot of damage on the side of Bozo Bunch. And they also do have a flip available to them on Grimella if they do need to use it.
Yeah, that was a lot of creations used, though. They're going to have to stall things out as this defense comes out. Now a 3-man defense from Bang Bang. Not able to find the second barrier. Grimella for the clear up at the top. The creations coming out from Fudgy, but not quite finding their mark. Brett now stuck in this bottom corner. The ult comes out, but Dropletto just strikes it through. Trying to find that bottom angle, but Grimella does have the core flip.
Yeah, he does have the core flip. Is he going to be able to make it a barrier with it though or not? A banish comes out, but only hits Dropletto there as the core is going to bounce back and forth. But now Primary now sending it forward, but again, Fudgy just really in the right position, just sending it back immediately as Grimella uses a flip but doesn't get it past Dropletto. And now Bozo Bunch has 2 flips to their name, but they're not quite able to use them as Grimella teleports on top of the core to secure the first step for Bang Bang.
Yeah, beautiful usage. Obscure Breads there, just not respecting the teleport. Got caught out of position as it went into close to overtime. But that core speed is no joke, especially when you're not fast enough early off in the game. Opting for strike shot instead of momentum boots, those little trade-offs can make a big difference. And now Bozo Bunch has the opportunity to try to draft, and Bang Bang gets first pick.
Bang Bang does obviously opt for that knife edge, more speed for Drew, more KO threat on the edge, and team player also dropping all the way down to Fudgy, which is really going to help accelerate the play for Bang Bang. So they're definitely very happy with the pickups. Grimella also being able to pick up some Stagger Swagger survivability. So good awakenings going their way. The side of Bozo Bunch, I feel like, also get good awakenings. So Cast the Last for now is definitely a strong awakening. And the stacks, the spark stacking for Dropletto is also something that you would like to see early on.
That's right, and those unstable anomalies almost not working out there. Dropletto finally KO'd off the backside of Bang Bang's net, and it's a power play now for Bang Bang. They just have to get it past Obscure Breads, who's doing such a good job at locking this down. Sure enough, they stall out the entire read slow on timer for Dropletto to come back, and that's just a great defense you can expect out of this top tier team.
Yeah, and the defense itself isn't already enough as they're not trying to get an attack going. Grimella and Drew trying their best to get it over to the side of Bozo Bunch, but just not able to find the hit through just yet. As Gret now walks up, gets caught off guard by Drew on the edge there. Another power play for the side of Bang Bang. Are they going to be able to find a barrier this time around though? They find the first one at the bottom. Obscure Brett's not quite able to hold on to it. Fudgy Waffles also being really aggressive here, walking up, using that Finny ultimate almost perfectly to secure the second barrier as well, as they are now trying to secure the goal, but Dropletto in the right position at the right time controlling the core just right to just slot it into the side of the goal.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, coming out from Bang Bang, Fudgy Waffles does pick up the team player, which is going to help with the forward pressure a lot. We've seen Fudgy getting active at the midfield, oftentimes out of the goal box, more often than not. So I expect to see the core on Bozo Bunch's side a lot more, but a huge core flip KO coming out from Dropletto will mean there is a power play. And we'll have to see if Bang Bang is able to lock it down as well as Bozo Bunch did.
They will try to do their best. They dropped one barrier, but they're still holding on to the second one, and we all know the second barrier is the much more important one. So Bang Bang probably pretty satisfied with this. As Drew using that knife's edge together with the death touch, finding a KO there. Dropletto also no evades, getting rather low. So they have a lot of room to play here. They find one barrier. Are they going to be able to get a second one? No. Obscure Breads with a beautifully timed flip, holding on to the second barrier for now.
Yeah, that's huge. And now Drew's in a scary spot. Dropletto almost KOs Fudgy off the back as the second barrier falls. Dropletto doing a good job cutting off these passes. Grimella now with that unstable anomaly. Not even needed as Drew just finds the top corner. Obscure Breads now dealing with a lot of pressure and making great saves, but still these shots are just slotted in the corner every time.
Yeah, you can really just see the value from the knife's edge from Drew there, right? Having found 2 KOs this set already, and also together with Night Market having that middle sector, he's just able to continuously make use of that knife's edge speed, being at the right place at the right time almost always. As another attack is now going, the side of Bozo Bunch will be able to hold on to the barrier here. Lose 1, lose 2, never mind, Caster cursed it away, as Fudgy Waffles also tries to be more aggressive, maybe tries to use the flip as well.
Oh man, and the strike timing is so scary right now for Bozo Bunch. These unstable anomalies can pop up at any second. And there's another one this time to save things. Dropletto reads the mind game and gets the double barrier, but it's such low HP now with no energy. Has the potential to be KO'd by Drew, but Grimella is looking for the pass up. One to Drew, but Gret is there to block it away, almost taken out by the pendulum swing. Now Dropletto banished, surely taken off the map, this time by Fudgy Waffles, and Drew with the Strike War win. Just uses the ability to stuff that core through, and 1 point away from being up 2-0 in this series.
Really good patience being displayed from Drew there, not using that secondary too early, waiting until Obscure Breads tries to hit the core away, just to immediately interrupt it. As the kickoff now commences, the barrier drops on the side of Bozo Bunch. But they do have some offensive capabilities left. Gret running up, finding one of the barriers. Obscure Bread now also holding a pretty offensive line here. Still has a flip as well if they do need to use it on the defensive end.
And Drew really has just been playing this entire game perfectly. I mean, we see, of course, the fight or flight mixed with the knife's edge used to just take so much space, and it looks like Quick Strike is back in the game whenever I watch Drew play this Rasmus. It is ridiculous how much value he's able to get off this speed and Strike Wars, and Gret is almost taken off the map. The flip burned away though, and Grimella burns a flip too. Fudgy the last one with it. We'll have to see if it's necessary on this defense or not.
It might be needed, but never mind. Bang Bang, Grimella, and Drew both getting the core up, getting a barrier as well. They have no evades with their name right now, but maybe they can set up an attack that doesn't need a flip as the core bounces around the unstable anomalies and the grand finishes. Core now on the half of Bang Bang though. Dropletto and Gret doing a really good job just taking up space, not allowing any safe clears. Fudgy Waffles also forced to use the flip there to get it out, but the core again just kind of bounces back as it almost bounces right past Fudgy, but he's ready for it. But a nice passing play between Gret and Dropletto sets up a nice strike and ability usage to get this goal.
I mean, I thought surely off the airship that core was going in, but Fudgy somehow in the right place at the right time, despite not necessarily having so much speed as these other characters. And this time instead, Drew taken off the pitch. Not gonna be able to find his mark, but a nice double banish from Grimella will stall out a lot of time for Drew to be able to come back with almost 0 barriers lost. Or in this case, both of them.
Risky clear attempt from Fudgy, high risk, high reward. If it works, you get out scot-free, but if it doesn't, you lose both of these barriers. Now open goal situation, and Fudgy Waffles can't really stand where he wants to. Too low of HP to really be comfortably defending this, but doesn't matter. Grimella is holding up really well for him. As the core is roughly staying on almost in the goalie arc almost from the side of Bang Bang, but it's just not finding its way into the net as they're doing a really good job holding on defense here.
Wow, this defense is ridiculous. These unstable anomalies are helping out so much. There's yet another one. Grimella has the flip up to Drew, but they just can't get it past. Obscure Breads has the strike shot, has that primary, able to do so much to block this net. And they just are winning strike wars over and over and over again. Obscure Breads now has built up enough for the flip. Try not to get taken out by Drew. Thankfully, that ward comes back. The core is moving so fast. The barrage almost finding its mark. And Dropletto with the flip will secure the second set, but this one was a lot closer. Dropletto surely getting MVP off this set.
Yeah, and Dropletto here looking for quite a few awakenings. Already going to be able to find the ones that they want, though. You do have size, you do have perfect form, maybe even another spark, as Dropletto has started the sparking already. Could be that this is going to be a Spark of Agility pickup. No, it's going to go for the size, which is just consistent strong value for the Asher.
Yeah, definitely expecting a Catalyst pickup off one of these players, and Fudgy will be the one to pick that up. That's going to be very important. We've seen how often the core is in the goal box, so for Fudgy to be able to get that is a big deal. It's an extra 15% energy per hit, so very big.
Most definitely. Gret also definitely very happy about this Egoist pickup, giving a little bit more energy to work with. Kai not necessarily being known for being the most tanky striker in the roster. Dropletto is probably a little bit sad though, because that draft did have 2 sparks, which means making use of that spark of focus is going to be a lot more difficult for him now in the future.
That's right. And look at that. Drew just using the speed, almost finding the death touch to secure the stun. And now Drew staggered, low HP, stuck on this side of the pitch. Probably not wanting to go up too far. Will he be punished for the orb? Nope, opposite. Bring the energy instead, and Dropletto burns all of his abilities to try to catch him.
Not quite able to find the KO in the end though, so it's just the abilities that haven't really gone into anything, and the side of Bang Bang will now try to make use of that, try to hold on to this core and get an attack going. Gret though switches sides and uses the flip here. Dropletto intercepts a shot almost perfectly as well, as it's now an open net. Gret in front of the net, but Fudgy Waffles with a beautiful save. Going to be able to hold on to this point, and now it's on Drew and Grimella to try to keep this core on enemy half until Fudgy Waffles is back.
Gret with the silent VM too, as you know, Fudgy can't see it, but the stream sure can. Use energy burst. I believe that's the second time a goal has gone in where Fudgy has the core flip at the net, but that's what's scary, right? We've seen Dropletto just win strike war after strike war. This time doesn't even need the energy burst to get that in the top corner. A beautiful use of the airship there. And Dropletto is just sitting in this net cherry picking, trying to stop Grimella from using these unstable anomalies, because if you touch it before it pops, it will not fully place in the world. So very, very, very important. And we see Dropletto just being an absolute nuisance on the offensive half.
Yeah, and being this aggressive as well is going to make Fudgy's life a lot more difficult, because Finny doesn't like having the enemy forwards on top of her. She likes having some space to use her range with. So Dropletto definitely doing a really good job on the positioning end there, as both barriers have dropped on the side of Bozo Bunch now. 2 flips on the side of Bang Bang. One comes out from Grimella, but Dropletto again interrupting almost perfectly. An unstable anomaly from Grimella, though, holding on to the point as Fudgy Waffles also uses the flip here. The point is still alive. Are they going to be able to translate it? Drew with a beautiful pendulum swing will be able to find that point, and it feels like Bang Bang kind of pulled that point out of the grave already and just kind of made it work.
Yeah, that was a beautiful sequence somehow. Drew just gets rewarded by just right-clicking. I mean, that is, as you mentioned, you know, Finny doesn't like to have these strikers directly on top of her, but neither does now. I mean, we've seen Drew just sort of beating up Obscure Breads in the goal box over and over. And this time, Drew is the one to take a little bit of damage himself. But now trying to clear this out, and a huge KO on Dropletto. But Drew is low, has to watch out for the Giga Blast that's surely coming his way in just a second.
He's down to what seems like almost 10 HP now. Also goes into stagger now, but still there, very much oppressive on the front end, as the side of Bozo Bunch will not be able to find the KO just yet. But Drew is in no clear water just yet. The core just bouncing into that barrage there. Very unfortunate for Gret. KO still not happened just yet, but they do find the barrier with nice offensive positioning. And a lovely pass from Gret finds Dropletto as they secure the second goal of the set.
Yeah, Grimella's unstable anomaly just popping a frame too late, as we saw it instead get boosted towards the net. But Fudgy does almost have flip here. We'll have to see how he uses it. But Gret with that Giga Blast almost takes out Grimella, and now that's a lot of damage on the Dropletto.
A lot of damage and a lot of positional pressure as well. You can see how offensively the side of Bang Bang is currently standing. Again, Fudgy on that halfway line. Barrier also dropping, the second barrier also dropping for Bozo Bunch now, but they do find one in return. Demolitionist almost coming into play, but not quite enough for Dropletto to take the second one as the flip comes out. Gret now has a flip, has that Egoist speed boost, together with that fight or flight and peak performance base speed. Maybe he can do something as he finds the second barrier.
Oh, and that was scary there. Just getting it past that anomaly. As Dropletto, oh, there's the double banish coming out though. That's a lot of damage onto this Asher. He'll get healed up by the now primary, or now secondary rather. It's Gret now missing the Giga Blast, but stalling things out. Dropletto is just sitting here, but that's a lot of pressure onto Obscure Breads. One wrong read and that is over. But we honestly see the team player not getting as much use as it could because of the offensive pressure coming out from Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, Dropletto's really not allowing Fudgy Waffles to make use of that team player as Gret reads the clear correctly and interrupts it to find a set win. But yeah, as you mentioned, the positioning from Bozo Bunch is just so oppressive that Fudgy Waffles can't really find those clean angles to team player to his teammates to. So definitely something that Bozo Bunch is successfully shutting down. Draft now going. Chrono Boost coming out for the Kai. Definitely something that allows Gret to be even more of a threat, more consistent on the board, and even more size going to Dropletto as well. That's going to be a bit scary. Now you're dealing with a double size Asher. You already had difficulties getting the core to the enemy half. It's not going to get a lot easier now. Hot Drop pickup for Obscure Breads is also going to help with those cooldowns and help with that oppressive force even more for the side of Bozo Bunch.
I do love the unstoppable pickup for Fudgy though. I think we see Dropletto just in the net over and over and over again. And to at least be able to evade one Asher primary, I think is a huge deal when it comes to winning these strike wars. Although I'm sure we'll see a lot more ult usage out of Dropletto, and this big fish is just so massive. Look at the size of Asher on the pitch right now.
He is absolutely massive, but what's even bigger is that KO that the side of Bang Bang found. And they have a power play going, not quite able to translate it into a goal just yet, as Gret immediately off of the respawn runs up, takes a barrier, and with a Giga Blast finds a kill even. Power play for the side of Bozo Bunch now.
Yeah, Drew just has to stall things out for a little bit. Fudgy does have the flip, and look at these players so aggressive, even at the detriment of a player. And look at this, Gret is just KO'd off the map. And another one, a huge power play. Obscure Breads, the last one standing. You just have to get it past them. Grimella looking for the pass up to Fudgy, but Gret comes back with the Giga and scores off of respawn. Fudgy not happy about that one. Bozo Bunch somehow steals a point away yet again.
Just getting back on the map in time, and Gret beautifully noticing that Fudgy was being a little bit too close to core there, taking advantage of it almost immediately. As the side of Bang Bang now have another attack going. Drew has a flip. If he wishes to use that, he could probably try to trade it at the very least for one of Obscure Breads. Not quite able to use it just yet though, as again, the course being so oppressively shoved back and forth. The mine placement bit off there as Obscure Breads does drop the second barrier. Drew now low though, needs to be careful to not use this flip for nothing. Tries to position himself in a way where he can make use of it, does get it out in the end. But Obscure Breads finding the angles to his teammates pretty consistently.
Yeah, and Dropletto already a champion of just winning strike wars over and over again. This size is helping out so much. We saw there, able to strike the core from completely behind him. And I feel like the only way to win a strike war against Dropletto is just to take him off the pitch. It's Fudgy with a beautiful save, avoiding that barrage, but all the abilities in the world are not enough against Dropletto, who finds yet another shot into the bottom corner, and 1 point away from going up 1-0 in this series.
Fudgy not really having any abilities there to help with that defense, and if you're a Finny without abilities on an open net, there's not much you can do. We're going into a kickoff though of what could be potentially the last point of this series, as Bang Bang is trying to find an offense here, but the core does just go past the defensive end from them right now. Flip comes out from Grimella, but a beautiful airship will deny any kind of clear. It's the second barrier drops as well. Gret tries to set himself up to get an attack going, but Drew, being the oppressive force that he's been so far, finds one barrier. Are they going to be able to find a second one, though?
We'll have to see. We see some good strike wars coming out, but these unstable anomalies not able to reach their full potential. Fudgy using the flip as it just creeps right past them. Dropletto, though, with the dribble. The barrage not coming out. Fudgy does have the ult to deal with it, but the banish in this case almost detrimental as somehow Drew finds that barrier off the night market angles. And Gret and Obscure Breads, they have to defend this net. Grimella trying to get it past, but the midfield pressure is so much. Dropletto's flip blocked away by Fudgy Waffle's primary. This anomaly coming out. Drew looking to get it past. You have to do it. But the forwards are just not quick enough compared to Bozo Bunch. They have so much speed, and Gret looking for it. Not even able to find it as Dropletto secures that goal. And sure enough, Bozo Bunch take map number 1.
The Finny ultimate not being able to be detonated fast enough makes it so Fudgy cannot hold on to that point. Bozo Bunch finding a pretty deserving first game win here. I feel like they've had more control of the series more consistently than the side of Bang Bang. And you can kind of see that as well in the stats, in the redirects, in all of it, right? So a good showing for Bozo Bunch, but definitely no signs of weakness from the side of Bang Bang either so far.
That's right, Dropletto there with 7 goals in that series. And of course, we see Gret with 307 redirects. Absolutely ridiculous coming out. We saw the midfield control and honestly the speed boost coming not only from Night Market, but also Fight or Flight, plus all of the other awakenings that these characters picked up means that Bozo Bunch just had full control of the midfield. And although Grimella was helping out Fudgy and doing a great job on the defense, yeah, that speed and size was just too much to handle.
Yeah, eventually just outscaled, and at that point there's not much more you can do, right? You just have to try your best to hold on to those points, find those KOs, and the KOs they did find, but they just weren't quite enough. But that was only game 1. We have some more games obviously coming up. Bozo Bunch does take the lead in this one. And that was also Bang Bang's map choice, because next we're going to go into the map choice from Bozo Bunch, being that Atlab.
Yeah, Atlab, a very common pick. I know both of these teams obviously very familiar with this. And, you know, don't count Bang Bang out just yet. I mean, we saw a lot of those points, or a lot of sets rather, went 3-2. I mean, somehow Bang Bang was able to claw their way back through the first set, essentially reverse sweeping that one. I mean, the scaling ultimately was just too much, and maybe Fight or Flight was a huge detriment to the side of Bang Bang. You know, it was their map pick, but obviously they don't get to pick the starting awakenings. So that their goal was likely to KO, and you know, even though it happened, it just was not enough when all that speed is in play.
Yeah, just so difficult to hit those Finny abilities consistently if you do have everyone running around at what feels like Mach 5 at times, right? That Fight or Flight can speed up the game so much, and it doesn't help that Gret also was able to pick up so many Speed Awakenings as a baseline. But that issue with KOing is going to be a little bit of a less of an issue on that Atlab game, unless we have like a stagger start, of course.
True, and you know, even if the Fudgy did manage to find those Finny abilities, all it did was just make the enemy team quicker. As soon as you take a little bit of damage, you just get a speed boost. So it's almost a detriment to hit people, especially on that map. So, you know, I think Atlab is going to be the refresher. We just need to see Bang Bang sort of clear their mind, lock in, maybe ban Asher or ban someone that Dropletto likes. I mean, surely we see an X on Atlas's lab, right? I mean, Dropletto clearly someone who just loves abusing strike wars and strike resets. So we'll have to see if one of those can come out during this next match. What do you think, Sloth?
Honestly, I would be all for an X. I feel like that character has gotten really strong in recent times as well. Has always been pretty strong as a baseline as well. So combining that obviously with a kill heavy map is going to do a lot of great work for you. But we do have the Strikers draft in front of us now, and it's a team player start. So anything about a slow game that might be kill heavy has immediately been tossed out the window.
Yeah, I mean, surely none of these players opt for the spark of cooldown, right? I mean, it has to be 6-man team player, right? I mean, Alice's Lab, a map notoriously known for the core just moving extremely quick and, you know, sometimes sad boysing, sometimes finding its mark around these circular gates. We'll have to see if this happens again because I'm sure a lot of emotes will be spammed. We clearly saw Gret having some fun in that first game.
Most definitely. I do feel like there is room for maybe the brawlers to pick up the Spark of Focus just to have that opportunity to spark stack. But that is yet to be seen. And so it's going to depend on the picks. Bans have progressed now, though. And the Rasmus being taken out by Bang Bang, not allowing that pickup for the side of Bozo Bunch. And the Rune being eliminated from Bozo Bunch, not really having had fun dealing with that Grimella Rune, just rather want to take it out.
Yeah, fair enough. Grimella, one of those players able to pilot the Rune Striker incredibly well. And also, we're hearing from the analyst desk that Drew has scored 191 goals so far in the NASL. So all we need is for him to score every single goal this game, and he'll break 200. That's all I'm
Just make
saying.
it a quick 9-0. Have him do everything, and we can clean. We can end that game specifically on 200 goals. Definitely something to watch out for. Would be kind of insane if Drew is going to be able to find it's a 200th goal. But to top that off, talking about goals, Dropletto has scored his 300th goal in game one. So a lot of milestones being hit today.
Yeah, congratulations, Dropletto. We'll have your cake waiting for you in the break room with the 300 engraved on the top. 300 goals in NASL is ridiculous. I mean, that is just, I mean, that's 300 goals. I say more? I don't think so.
Most definitely. It just kind of shows the skill and the longevity of some players in this league as well. But we are going to look at the draft again. A lot of picks have dropped in, and you kind of wished for it, there is a X pick going to the side of Bozo Bunch here. So Dropletto gonna be enjoying himself a little bit of X gameplay on AtLab.
That's right. And of course, we do have Bang Bang's entire roster now. We have the Aimee, the Juno, and the Kai. That sounds not fun to play against if you are now in net. Obscure Breads has his work cut out for him this match. And we do see the final one come through. Am I reading that right? Is that an Octavia?
I do believe you have that right. I It's a surprise. It's not a pick I would be expecting from an AtLab game, but it kind of makes sense, right? If it's gonna be control heavy, it's not gonna be very damage heavy. So there's a good chance Octavia is gonna be able to stay on the field here. And it's also going to be able to keep up with the core, it being basically constant red core with that team player start.
Man, wow. That is not a striker I've seen that much of in NASL. I'd be interested to see if we do have the stats for how many times Octavia has been picked this season. Could this be the first? I'm not a ball knower. I'm sure some people in chat can help me out, all you loyal fans who watch every single game, but hopefully we will be getting into this soon and see what Gret is going to be able to do on this Octavia. With team player, probably a lot.
Probably a lot. I don't think it was the first game of Octavia so far, but it's like you said, it's not definitely a common pick. But if you're ever picking it, it's gonna be playing into no brawlers, right? Into just more control. I do feel like though the side of Bang Bang has a strong win con here, and that it's just gonna be overtime. Aimee, Juno, both in overtime, together with team player. At that point, you're not gonna be catching up to core anytime soon.
That's very true. And word came in, I am incredibly wrong. I'm not the they are not the first player to pick Octavia. Fair enough. It was an uneducated guess, but thankfully we have the ball knowers or core knowers here, all those loyal NASL fans. But yeah, we have this draft now all the way. I think Juno is going to pose a huge problem. Grimella, I believe, the one piloting that striker, and now, like Finny, doesn't have a lot of abilities that are able to stop the core when you just get in her face. So with those Juno blobs, especially if we see a hot shot come up with team player, that is going to be a serious problem for the Bozo Bunch defense.
A hotshot team player Juno does not sound fun to play against. So just for the sake of Bozo Bunch, I'm hoping that's not going to happen, but it is yet to be seen. Now, obviously, way back when she was still able to stun the opposition with her mine, was having a little bit of an easier time defending when someone's on top of you. Not the case anymore, though. Now you're just hitting the core away. The enemy brawler will just strike it right back at you. So, going to be interesting to see how well the side of Bozo Bunch is going to be able to make use of that now. And honestly, I'm just excited to see an Octavia game. Those could always be fun.
Oh, 100%. If there is a striker to look out for, it's going to be Octavia. Even the early game scaling on the striker is just so strong, right? That speed is just a huge nuisance. And team player as a starting awakening always makes for a fun game. Team player, one of my personal favorite awakenings. I kind of wish I had it every game, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, but surprisingly enough, the side of Bozo Bunch have opted to go triple Spark of Focus. They're really hammering down their win con here, right? With the X, with the Octavia. They're saying, we're not really looking for an immediate kind of danger or threat that we can put on the board. We're just going to scale. We're just going to purely outscale you. Octavia's going to scale great into late game. So is X. You have now to hold you over to that kind of part as well. But not to mention now on her own, already has a really strong scaling to her name as well. So this seems like a game that the side of Bang need to win within the first 3 sets. Otherwise, you're in deep, deep trouble.
Yeah, that is going to be a huge problem. And we see the problem manifesting already as Dropletto able to just strike reset and score a very easy goal in that bottom corner there. And this is something to look out for from Dropletto. These very fast goals and fast barriers taken are going to be very hard. I mean, we have Fudgy and Grimella are going to be able to use that team player to get it up to Drew, but if Drew doesn't have that barrage and Juno doesn't have the blobs, really what can Bang Bang do?
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, there's a lot of damage output from the side of Bozo Bunch as well. Drew being taken down to stagger. Has to use the flip there to even stay alive, as Dropletto sets up beautifully as well to get a core into that barrier. Flip being forced out from Fudgy Waffles, but Fudgy Waffles being forced out of the map as a power play now starts for the size of Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, Drew has to clear these out perfectly. Grimella looking for that strike for a win with the Blabo, able to find it. But now the ult coming out from Gret. There's still one barrier left on the side of Bozo Bunch. And sure enough, Gret able to find that angle. Just a beautiful pass from Dropletto. Able to get the top of the net. And this is what's really scary is you sit in the wrong place as Aimee, as Juno, and you just get scored on right away.
Yeah, if the core's too far away from you, there's nothing you can do. Maybe if you're lucky, you have an ability to cover it, but it's still very difficult to time that correctly then. So positioning being punished for sure, as a now sentry will be able to find a double barrier here. Bozo Bunch just playing it so oppressively right now, and it kind of feels like Bang Bang is just looking for something, but not quite able to find it just yet, as Gret, with a primary, secures his first set for Bozo Bunch. And it's been a pretty convincing set so far for the team comp that shouldn't necessarily be the one to win early sets.
That's right, and we do see one Spark coming on the scene. Spark of Resilience will mean Dropletto is going to be even more annoying. Can you believe it?
Who would have guessed? Even more annoying, even more scaling with those sparks coming out. Castellass being denied off of Gret, but Gret happily being able to pick up a peak performance, helping with survivability and the speed. Monumentalist finding his way onto Obscure Breads, though, could be a bit scary, because that's going to have so much more... It's just going to be so much more oppressive to play against now, with all of these abilities being so massive. And to top it off as well, being able to maybe speed boost both Dropletto and Gret as one barrier drops on the side of Bang Bang already.
That's right, and this core speed not really playing a pivotal factor yet. It's more the stuff ability coming out from Bozo Bunch as they find yet another barrier. Drew here doing a good job just soloing this net right now. Grimella is there with the blobs, but isn't quick enough. Fudgy now using that eject button to get into the fray, but Dropletto consistently popping the center, and it deals so much damage to Grimella as Fudgy is just too slow to get to the core.
Gret just noticing the error in positioning in the turret there, just taking advantage of it almost immediately. And I kind of feel like we're seeing something similar to what we've seen in Night Market from the side of Bozo Bunch, right? Because they are going up against team players when they don't have them themselves. But that itself doesn't really matter if you're just positioning perfectly to deny any kind of passing play. But what he can't deny is a KO, as Drew finds that beautiful Giga Blast there to take Gret off the map. Open net now. Are they going to be able to find a goal here or not? They hold core control, but not quite able to get it past Dropletto and Obscure Bets just yet.
Yeah, beautiful barrage and a little back pass to keep control of that core. We do see Dropletto with the flip, and Grimella has to just sprint away from this as they're taking so much damage. Dropletto now dashing in with that turret. Gonna help out for a few seconds. Once it's gone, things are getting scary. Dropletto just able to punch it. Doesn't even need an ability to take that, and the power play sort of we're pushing forward with Fudgy isn't enough just yet. Drew now doesn't have the barrage, trying to find something, just desperately trying to keep control of this core as Dropletto and Gret are just posing a total issue and a total threat to this net, and Dropletto just punches it through. Fudgy Waffles missing the strike there. Just very unfortunate. Things are snowballing in favor of Bozo Bunch right now.
They are snowballing in their favor for sure, and that's just really difficult to deal with, right? Because they will be scaling even harder. So even if you do find some set wins here or some goals, the job further down the line is going to be much more difficult. As Drew, though, with a nice positioning and nice flip, will find a KO on Gretz. Now power play in favor of Bang Bang. Are they going to be able to find anything with it, though? Oh. Sad Boy's angle with like 5 abilities forces the core through, though, as they're now actually in a player deficit, as Gret makes great use of that Octavia ultimate to find a KO.
That's devastating for Bang Bang. It is not what you want to see. Thankfully, they're able to use that team player to pass it back and forth and stall time a little bit. But Drew, unfortunately, not coming up soon enough. Able to get that second barrier with the barrage, but Dropletto does have the flip, and Drew is very low right now. The flip coming out from Dropletto, looking to pass it up to Gret. Able to get it through. Dropletto not quite large enough to find that strike, and the ult comes through and is not needed. Gret strikes it through, and Bozo Bunch 2 sets up right now, 1 away from closing out this series.
And I do believe that's been 2 sets of 3-0s as well. So very, very oppressive. And going into this draft, we have a few awakenings that are going to be interesting. The Stagger Swagger might be a pickup for Octavia to make sure that she's not going to be KO'd. Maybe she's even going to opt for something else, like the Perfect Form, allowing her to have more abilities more often. So we'll see how this is going to go. Hotshot not finding his way all the way down to Juno. To be expected, though.
Yeah, that is not a striker you want to give Hotshot. Instead, forced to take a knife's edge. Maybe a little bit more survivability just off of the fact that Dropletto will take some more damage, but you know, obviously with that spark of resilience, having 2 sparks already, Dropletto is tanky. Those are a lot of ticks on the health bar.
He's not gonna be taken off the map anytime soon. Rather, the side the barriers of the side of Bang Bang will be taken off, though. Gret taking a lot of damage, but being healed up almost immediately by Obscure there, using that extra strong heal off of Monumentalist as Drop finds a KO. Power play now for the side of Bozo Bunch. Are they going to be able to find the goal just yet, though?
Not quite. Gret slightly missing that angle. Is very close, but not enough. Drew with a great strike war win, able to take that second barrier. Perhaps Bang Bang is going to be able to get on the board during the set, but look at the core flips. Dropletto and Gret both have it. Obscure Breads is a tick away from getting it, and you don't even need it per se, but surely the Juno Blob saving that one, and Fudgy Waffles with an unfortunate own goal, just trying to save it. Knows that the core is moving too quick for that glitch pop to get behind it.
And more importantly on that KO as well on Drew, that has reset his stacks, which means he's going to have to start again from 0. Definitely not something you want to be dealing with, as a barrier drops, though, from the side of Bozo Bunch. Are they going to be able to find a return attack, though? Grimella setting up nicely, not quite able to find it, though, and Dropletto just dumping so much damage. The flip to confirm the KO as well from Obscure Breaths.
But a beautiful double barrier off the back of that core flip. Dropletto secures the second one, and now Gret has that speed boost, looking to push it through, gets the reset after hitting them. And sure enough, 2-0 right now in favor of Bozo Bunch. Is there anything that Bang Bang can do to keep themselves in this game?
It almost seems like there isn't. They're just being out-controlled as it stands right now. Barrier does get dropped, but again, it's a second one that's a difficult one. The second one that you need to find is Grimella's trying to set up to find just that, but the nice clear angle from Obscure Breads will shut that down, and Dropletto with those ultimates, with that X and Maximus, just being such an oppressive force to deal with. Drew finding the second barrier there, maybe going to be able to make use of his strikes to get a pass Obscure Breads, but not quite able to find it just yet. Maybe trying to run up with a barrage. It should be up soon again, but he actually needs to be a lot more careful to not be taken off of the map by this dangerous X right now. But a nice blob will catch the core before it goes to Gret. And the first goal for the side of Bang Bang has been found.
We'll have to see if that's enough, but Bozo Bunch trying to find the dagger in this match as we see Gret immediately using the speed boost, almost KOing themselves off the top to get it. Drew's barrage not quite finding its mark as Gret doing a good job sticking in that corner and now is fully healed up like nothing has ever happened. I mean, this is so dominant from Bozo Bunch.
There's just not much you can do. You're trying to take out the Octavia. You can't really because you have a Now right behind it. And not to mention, while you're trying to do anything about the Octavia, you just have an X that's pummeling you. As another KO is found for the side of Bozo Bunch. They find a second barrier here as well. Obscure Breads does have a flip if he wants to speed up the play, but not quite able to do that just yet. X Maximus coming out from Dropletto, trying to force the core through, not able to find the goal, but again, Drew down to like 200 HP. Does have a Stagger Swagger to his name though, so that's going to help quite a bit with surviving.
That's right, the core flip though from Obscure Breads makes this offense much more difficult than it may appear. So we see Drew now forced to stay back. This core flip coming out potentially from Dropletto. We see all three players. There's the flip. Will it go down? It will, but Fudgy's able to get it. The angle not quite good enough from Dropletto. Leaves an opportunity for Bang Bang. We see Fudgy to pass up to Grimella. Going up to the top and a good glitch pop. And now left with very minimal abilities. All that's left is the cyber swipe, and that one's burned away. The flip in the bottom corner. Bang Bang keeping themselves alive in this game. Potentially 1 point away from staying in the game. But this is golden goal right now for Bozo Bunch.
Obscure Breads secondary, they're not being down quite in time to hold on to the goal there. We're now in a it's in a goal 5 situation though, and the barrier has dropped on the side of Bang Bang. So it's not looking that strong for them right now, but they immediately trade it back. Actually, never mind. As the core now holds on the half of Bang Bang. It's gonna jump back and forth a bit, but seems like Bozo Bunch is trying to set up. They do find a flip play in front of the barrier. Now open net. Fudgy Waffles not quite able to find the glitch pop there to angle it out. And a dominating Game 2 win and 2-0 series win for the side of Bozo Bunch.
That's right. That was a very commanding victory coming out of Bozo Bunch. Of course, GG's to both of these teams. But when you look at the stats, I mean, you can clearly tell that Bozo Bunch was in control of that game. I mean, we see 137 redirects coming off the goalie of Obscure Breads, whereas Fudgy was only able to get 107. And Drew, unfortunately, the core just kept away from him as he was just taking so much damage from Dropletto.
Yeah, it is just been a dominant showing, and it feels like the game hasn't lasted that long. It was a 13 minutes game, right? But Dropletto has almost 30k damage being pumped out from that X. So here you can again see that even that KO and damage force that pick has on this map, definitely a lot of value for the side of Bozo Bunch right there.
That's right, and unfortunately, you know, from Bang Bang, a little bit too late to start scoring those goals. Although the Awakenings truly were not in their favor. You know, Fudgy being on the IME. Castellas isn't necessarily the first pick that you want when you're playing IME, but of course having to deny the Octavia, who has so many Awakenings in the game right now that are just terrifying, definitely mixes up how you approach draft, and just making things even that much harder for Bang Bang. So Bozo Bunch right now doing it very well in NASL. Of course, now I believe after that win, they are up to, is it 4-2 or is it 5-2 now? I think 4-2.
I think it's 4-2. We're sitting in week 6, so it should be 4-2. Unless there's been some games that we don't know about, but definitely a strong start to the season, right? 4-2 is a good spot to be in if you're looking to make that playoff. So nothing standing in Bozo Bunch's way right there. Bang Bang though now sitting at a 1-5, definitely not an easy spot to be in.
No, definitely not. But You know, speaking of other teams, up next, we're going to have Cosmic Calamity versus Showtime. That is going to be a match you don't want to miss. So we will be right back, and we'll see you in a little bit.